Greetings, true believers, and welcome back to another episode of Mutant Rejects. I am your host, Dom, and I am joined, as usual, by my wonderful reject family. For starters, we're gonna go with my lovely wife, because my mom raised a gentleman, Kathy,
Hi.
who you can see for once. Isn't it nice to see us every now and then? It's been like 3 years, and you finally get to see what we look like. I know you're disappointed, and the only one you can't see is because we have him live on the phone from England since he's working for Essex now. Fuck. My fabulous brother Phoenix!
Hello, ladies and
All right. Hope that's picking up. And we actually have some great topics for you. We have some mutant news, which is yay. But before we get anything going, I just want to once again thank D. James Jones for coming through and doing that wonderful interview with us. No, my mic's not muted. That's a good thing too. He took so much time with us. He put up with so much stuff just to get on the call. We appreciated it so much. Thank you again, Mutant and Proud. Stay that way, homie.
and we'd like to still thank Elise coming out too.
Oh yeah, we thanked Anissa like.
Yeah,
but it's still worth thanking because we love you, Anissa. But yeah, you guys were great. We loved you. If you haven't checked out the interviews yet, they're on Fox Den Productions on YouTube. You can search them out. You can go to our podcast platforms. We'll give you all that shit later. Again, these guys, cart, horse, we're moving along because we actually, like I said, have mutant news, and we have mutant news about something that's actually still semi-exciting, even though they've kind of put it off now for at least a good 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, of course, the wonderful mutant horror film that I know at least I and maybe we have all been waiting for.
Yeah.
You're damn skippy.
And that's New Mutants. Let's take a look at the trailer. I love technology.
What's the last thing you remember, Daddy? He said we had to run. The reason you survived is because you're a very uncommon girl. You're not alone. Not anymore. Do you know what mutants are? Would anyone like to share their first time? Rain?
I was 13. I thought it was a dream. I just lost control.
Sam?
I started panicking. People got hurt.
Roberto?
My girlfriend, I burned her.
Liliana?
I killed 18 men, one by one.
Take that, Scarlet Witch.
This isn't a hospital. It's a cage.
It's important we find out your power so we can help you get better.
I saw something. I don't think she wanted me to see. I don't think we're here to get better.
This place takes your great fear and makes you live through it until it kills you.
Is there? We can get out of this together.
All right, guys, I need a minute.
Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah,
And yes, it was supposed to be out April 3rd, and then all this stuff happened. So again, push it back.
Yep.
But at the same time, it looks great. And wouldn't it just be great if the New Mutants end up getting saved by like Cable and Deadpool and Domino?
Well, Deadpool did make his first appearance. And New Mutants number 98.
Aha.
Back panel.
Aha.
First full appearance, New Mutants number 99.
Aha. I think I'm on to something here.
And then he disappeared for issue 100 in X-Force 1 and 2, but it was back in issue number 3 of X-Force.
That's true. So, you know, it would be pretty cool for that to happen. But now that we've gotten the trailer in and we're all kind of except Kathy, she just looks kind of okay, there we go. Now we got a little energy. Cool,
No,
cool.
it looks really
Remember, we're on camera.
good.
Unlike Phoenix. So let's get to know the cast of this movie a little bit. I'm gonna pass it back and forth because you know me, I talk too much anyway. I'm gonna have Kathy introduce the character name, and then Phoenix is gonna give us background on the actor or actress playing them, where you might have seen them, and we're just gonna have a good time going through and letting you get to know these people before the movie comes out. So Kathy, kick us off with maybe my favorite New Mutant of all time.
What, that one?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
The one on the top. Yes, that one.
All right, so we got Magic.
Magic. Now, Magic has a very interesting comic book history, but the actress is Anya Taylor-Joy, and you've probably seen her in other comic book movies such as Split and Glass.
I saw her in Glass.
Which are Well, Glass is a direct sequel to Unbreakable with Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Split is the one with James McAvery, the guy who plays young Professor
Oh, the guy.
X,
Yes, yes.
where
I
he
heard
has
about it. I never watched.
Oh,
multi-personality.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
Glass is the movie that kind of brings all that together.
Yeah.
Well, in the comic books, she is Colossus's younger sister.
So cool.
When she was first introduced, she was a young teenager. She came about halfway through the run of the New Mutants comic book series,
Mhm.
and she then got her age regressed to where she was a young child.
Kathy is jealous.
At that point, she is historically the first major character victim of the legacy virus, which was introduced at the end of the Execution of Song storyline with Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse and all that good stuff. She later came back, but
Damn you, Mr. Sinister.
she is one of the few creatures that is an Omega level mutant, and she is also one. She can travel to another dimension like our other friend Nightcrawler. It is a hell dimension. They have yet to actually determine if it's the same dimension. And she has an epic artifact weapon that's bound to her soul called the Soul Sword,
Yes.
which she can materialize at will.
Which
and
is
we
awesome.
see it in the trailer.
Yeah,
Yes.
you see it start to materialize in the trailer. It doesn't come all the way through, but
She is known as Magic. It is spelled funny, but it's still Magic.
yeah,
It's
it's spelled
got
with a K instead of a C.
Well, she's Russian.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and so that's pretty much all I have on her.
And yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, Magic is kind of like a nifty combination of like Ghost Rider and the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, she has reality warping powers, but her main powers are teleportation, and she gets this demonic side of her. Like she sprouts horns and a demon tail, and she gets this like witchblade armor on her arm with the soul sword, and she just for some reason with no
It's just
training
for-
whatsoever. She
If
can
someone
use it
hadn't
like a
heard of
ninja.
the character, like didn't read comics, didn't know him until now, like that's kind of a little summary. Just imagine like Ghost Rider and Wanda somehow having a baby. That would be magic.
Now, when she was reverted to a young teenager, she was all sweet and innocent. But as you saw in the trailer, I killed 13 people.
Obviously,
Well, that is not far off from her comic
Yeah.
persona as a teenager.
obviously,
was
she
the
is not
badass.
sweet nor innocent in this movie. Now, but since you know her and I, do you think they actually portrayed magic with this actress and all the look? Is it accurate enough considering
The only critique I can say so far, because I haven't seen the movie, from
Right.
the trailer, they could have gone a little bit lighter with her hair. I mean, they did kind of make
Maybe.
it blondish, but it still looks like a dirty blonde. Magic is much like a Targaryen. She has like blonde white hair.
right?
But that's the only critique I
Yeah,
can
I
make.
feel like somehow there's going to be a lot of Game of Thrones discussion in the midst of this.
Oh,
So get ready, nerds.
Cart, horse.
I know. How's it feel?
On IMDb, Anya Taylor-Joy is not the first cast member listed. I'm saving that one for last.
I love how I keep looking at the phone feed. That's
Well,
sorry, it's been a long day, guys. All right, so next,
can you read what's on the screen now? Can you read what's on the screen?
nope.
Oh, okay.
All right. So next character is Cannonball.
He is one of my favorites because he has had a very long arc in the comics. He is played by Charlie Heaton.
Mhm.
We don't know him from a bunch of stuff, but
I know from one thing.
Yes. I know that this actor has some range because what we know him from is Stranger Things.
Right, that's where I know.
He played Will Byers' older brother,
Mhm.
and between having to cope with a single mom, a deadbeat dad who was kind of a jerk,
Right.
and then his brother's disappearance, and everybody not believing this. For being, I think he was around 16 or 17 for season 1 of Stranger
Things? Yeah, I think he was about
So,
17.
in my opinion, he's still a relatively young actor. He showed a very large range for somebody his age.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And
Agreed.
Cannonball has always kind of been the heart of New Mutants because he's a country farm boy from Kentucky, and he's always kind of had like this got to make up for his very first appearance, which he wasn't originally a New Mutant. When the New Mutants first came out, he was actually a member of the Hellions, which was the Hellfire Club's little version,
like
of
Junior League.
Yeah, it was their version of the X-Men New Mutants.
Yeah.
But after their first combat with the two, he defected.
Right.
So originally he started out not necessarily as a bad guy, but as a bad guy. So he's always kind of played that off, but he's always been the softer, sensitive,
bad boy.
that
all the ladies love.
But he has my favorite scene in all of comic book history, which is X-Force number 19. At the very end of it, he sits down, talks with Professor X after the Executioner song, and he tells Professor X that we don't need you, we don't need Magneto, we don't even need Cable anymore. We're going to be our own people.
Ballsy. I remember that.
Ballsy. And then Professor X proceeds to tell him that you've got two thieves in your group, right? You stole 20 years worth of data from me. And Sam's like, that's my problem, not yours.
Wow.
All right.
Maybe not the smartest thing, but ballsy.
He also has a tragic history. We'll get on a little bit more on that with a lesser cast member for the movie, but
another Guthrie.
Yes, another Guthrie. And his name is Sam Guthrie.
Okay.
So
yeah, now he seemed to look.
No, he's supposed to have a blonde, like flat top.
He seemed to look a little off from what I remember.
And I'm hoping.
But again, that's okay. I want to see how he plays the role. I want to see how they use
all
effects.
Through the New Mutants and up through X-Force. He always had aviator goggles on his head,
right,
or on his eyes because of his power. Which it
Mhm.
doesn't look like they make him fly in this movie, but his power is a kinetic blast, which he can propel himself like a cannonball.
Right.
Which is why he's called Cannonball.
Gotcha.
Duh.
But it looks more like they have him doing his secondary power. It's like a shield, like generates a field around him.
Yeah.
That's what it showed in the trailer.
Okay. All right.
All right.
And our next one has to be one of my, our next one is
Daniel Moonstar.
Now she has a code name in the comics, but it is not listed as part of the movie or as the character name on IMDb. In the comics, she was known as Mirage, and then later on, she was known as Moonstar.
Right.
But she is played by the actress Blue Hunt. I didn't really see anything else I really know her in except Another Life, which is a Netflix sci-fi TV show that stars Katie Shakamoff.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen her. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen her in anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, she has a couple movies to her name and like a few TV shows here and there, but that's the only thing that really stuck out as me. Now, the actress doesn't look extremely Native American, but they did do better than they did with a casting later on that we'll talk about. But she is a Native American, but she is not the same type of Native American as Johnny was.
Right.
Whereas Johnny was Apache, she is Comanche.
Okay.
And originally she was the co-leader of the original New Mutants.
It's just nice to have Native American mutants like us.
And something to look forward to if they ever make a New Mutants too. She's also one of the few like X-Men-y type characters. It was actually a terrorist for a little while.
I was gonna say, and he tells me cart horse.
Let's
make sure this one gets out before we go any further.
She was actually a member of the Mutant Liberation Front under the clone / brother / whatever of Cable Strife.
Yeah.
But she left that group when her friend Forearm got killed. And their leader, Rainfire, who's also Sunspot.
Which is weird.
Started like torturing and killing members.
Try not to put that in the movie. Whatever you
Yeah.
because that's just weird.
I don't like clones to begin with.
No.
But yeah, so good luck to Blue Hunt because she's been a pretty pivotal character and a lot of people like her. And I know she is a fan favorite. Like they brought her back, you know, a couple of times. And she eventually became a teacher at Xavier's school. So, and after the death of like a lot of the main cast members from X-Men in the comic books, I know she actually became the headmistress temporarily. So she,
that's cool.
like her and Emma Frost were like battling it out, like who has the mutants' best interest in heart.
No, it's definitely a cool character. I maybe not terribly accurate.
Look, originally her powers were to pull your
Close.
worst fears and throw them in your face.
And again, even though they're not accurate, like there were a lot of characters in the Gifted weren't very accurate. I still liked them.
Yeah.
You got to see how they're played, and then you don't really care, or at least I don't really care.
But
Maybe
yeah,
you don't either.
the original Mirage powers was her ability to pull your fear and throw it back at you.
Yeah.
Later on, she was able to create psychic bolts of energy, which she would then fire from a psychic bow and arrow, much like Psylocke and her swords.
Yeah, a lot like
It's
that.
also cool to note that in the comics, she did have a crossover with Thor. Daniel Moonstar is technically a Valkyrie, blessed by the goddess Hela.
Oh, yeah.
She even has a white-winged steed, to when she went bad with the Mutant Liberation Front, became a black demon steed. But it was originally known as Brightwing, and then it became Darkwing.
I vaguely remember that. It's been so long since I read a comic book.
So
Poor me.
there's another way that she could cross over to the MCU. We could see her hanging out with that the
With
Asgardian refugees.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But good luck to you, Blue Hunt. You have big shoes to fill.
You really do. You really do. That's a big pivotal character, especially in this series. So fingers crossed she kills it. And now the next character has to be one of my favorites, just because he's kind of cocky, kind of brash, kind of hot.
And it's Sunspot.
And I'm the gay one.
I meant hot like sun, like burn, not hot like hey, you do.
Well, for this,
Shut up, you.
We have Roberto da Costa, Sunspot, who's played by Henry Zaga. Now, the quick notes I'm going to put on this one is Sunspot has always been a hothead. He is Brazilian. He is known as the Brazilian Sunfire.
Right.
Who is the Japanese Human Torch.
If that makes sense. And you think the movies can't keep a story straight.
Other fun fact about the actor, Henry Zaga, we know him mostly from like 13 Reasons Why in the TV show Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
But he was in a movie called Cherry Pop.
Which is, I've never seen that.
I don't really know what it's about, but the title of the movie is Cherry Pop. You have to laugh.
I'm trying not to, because I'm thinking you got like serious after that.
No, it's nothing really.
He just wanted to say Cherry Pop.
I wanted to say Cherry Pop. I thought it was fun.
Oh my God! Next thing you know, he's going to be in a cover band doing Cherry Pie.
Which, believe it or not, Warren actually hates that song.
Of course. Well, I'm sure they don't hate the check. Anyway.
No, they don't. They don't hate the royalty check. So Sunspot was originally set to be the leader of the New Mutants until he was shown up completely by Moonstar. Like
Ooh.
in the comics, he was like, "Oh, I'm rich. He's like the Warren Worthington of the New Mutants. He's
Mhm.
rich. He's suave. He
He's
was
a
always
strapping
considered
lad.
cute. He played soccer, which in Brazil
Full of
is like,
moxie and gumption and all those old school words.
yeah, he was. And then he just kind of like in the comics, New Mutants #1, he pussed out. He failed.
Of course.
So Moonstar just kind of took over, and then when Cannonball joined the
He's
group,
like, okay, I'm gonna go get some more hair gel. You're in charge.
yes. And you'd think somebody who can ignite himself with solar energy would avoid the product
You would
at
think.
all costs.
Yeah, pretty flammable.
But,
And I will say, I think the character, the casting was good on this one. It's pretty accurate. I liked it. I
yeah.
definitely liked the whole pool scene with his burned up girlfriend. That was interesting.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Now, this is again, guys. Like I've seen this trailer a few times, and the first time I watched it, I was actually doing the whole like, oh shit, and I'm trying to keep my cool because we're recording. But even through that trailer, I was trying not to go.
Yeah, me too.
It looks like they're doing a pretty good job of making it a horror movie.
It really
Yeah.
does. It really does.
So-
Okay, so we're moving on to the next character, which in this movie, which is
Dr. Celia Reyes.
and she looks so familiar.
She's
Well,
been in a ton of stuff.
she has been in a lot of movies.
Mhm.
The actress Alice Braga. You might
oh,
recognize
she
her.
was in the Predator movie.
Yes, she was in
Oh,
Predators.
yeah.
She was also in The Right,
Okay.
Elysium,
Oh yeah.
and the one I recognize her from is I Am Legend.
Yeah, of course.
Which
Which is a sad movie.
now this is interesting because the actress they have playing her looks nothing like the character from the movie. I mean, from the comic books.
No.
Okay.
Originally, she was an African American woman in her early 20s
Right.
who was an ER. I can't remember whether she was a doctor or a nurse, but that's all she wanted to be. She was a very reluctant mutant. But everybody remembers during the 90s, there was this thing where, Magneto's mind messed with Professor X's mind and created the Onslaught thing, and then followed by Zero Tolerance, which is a new version of Nimrod, comes back as this guy named Bastion, leads a war on mutants and arrests Professor X and all this good stuff.
Right.
During this storyline called Zero Tolerance, they introduced 3 new X-Men who were all basically B-level.
I was gonna say those X-Men were not very
One of them's name
Powerful.
was Maggot.
right.
He had
Yeah.
no digestive system.
None.
What he did have is 2 techno-organic metal slugs that would come out and devour stuff and then go back in him, and it would nourish his body.
Yeah, which is just
That's ew.
weird.
Ew. Then
Very weird.
we have another
A rare miss.
Morlock was introduced. Marrow
Yes.
was a little girl we saw in the Morlock tunnels in the comics. Later on, she became a teenager, and Storm had to kill her by ripping out her heart, which apparently she has too, because then she became an X-Men.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
And then we had Dr. Celia Reyes, who basically created force fields, kind of. So she was like, in the New Mutants in the 80s, they had a character called Skids,
Mhm.
who could create a frictionless force field, which they used to make her look like she was roller skating around, because it was the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, Celia Reyes could do it more like close to her skin to make it more form-fitting, and she could use it to she could expand it out as a bubble, or she could hug it in close and use it to pry stuff apart.
So kind of like Lauren.
A little bit,
Kind of.
Yeah.
but it mainly surrounded her entire body.
Yeah, kind of like Lauren from The Gifted, where she could bring out the big force field and she could put a little one, or she could wrap it around somebody, or
Yeah, so I was like, in the comics, she was a protagonist. It looks to me like changing her race and age was not the only thing they did.
no, they definitely made her evil.
She looks like she's the one, basically holding the New Mutants
She is.
captive.
Unless
and
there's
kinda
something-
sort of torturing them.
Unless there's something they're not showing in the
So
trailer.
she's definitely, I think, on the antagonist side.
Yeah, I think we could all agree that she looks
Yeah.
evil as hell.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
so
like she just has a huge bag of evil over her shoulder the whole trailer.
I mean, she looks like she's definitely a main cast member because she's the lead antagonist.
Oh, of course.
And at least I can say with this, at least it's not like a major X-Men character that they're messing with. So this one doesn't really hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I think in order to make it a horror movie, you kind of have to make her evil. You
Yeah.
know, it only makes sense in the plot if she's the protagonist, the villain, the evil bitch, whatever you want to call her.
Yeah. So, I'm still looking forward to seeing her. That'll be fun.
Now that she's sitting here staring at the camera and doing nothing, what do you think? Do you think them changing it and making her evil is a good thing for this movie, or?
If that's what's really gonna happen, like how it plays out in the movie, yes.
Well, damn sure it looked like it from what we saw.
Yeah, but trailers can be very deceiving anyways.
I know, but we're
So,
going on what we
yeah.
got, okay? It's been like 2 years. We got to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to make her the antagonist.
I mean,
have
God, I have to
somebody
like turn to my wife and
concrete.
say, okay, so supposedly, allegedly, they're going to make her evil. Do you support this? Okay, I think we've talked that one out. Why don't we move on to one of the secondary yet important characters in this story?
Well, I was trying to figure out why he was listed on the main list.
Cart horse. Kathy,
All right.
give us the
and
next character in the cast here.
His name is Thomas
Guthrie.
Guthrie. Gutter.
Guthrie.
And it's Cannonball's dad.
They're Kentuckians.
So it's Guthrie.
All right. Well,
Down there in Kentucky.
there's not much known about him in the comic book sense because he is Cannonball's dad,
Right.
and
We know
the whole family is from Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
And they
the
were
whole
coal
fa-
miners,
The
right?
whole family.
Yeah, the whole
and-
family.
Cannonball's dad in the comic books died of black lung. I mean,
Right.
Oh, so that's why he's
Cannonball
here with
had
all
the same-
miners. Okay.
Cannonball's dad had the same fate as like Johnny in comics. Like he showed up, he died. That was it.
yeah, it's
It's weird how they have a lot of parallels to the Gifted in this movie. They're just saying.
yeah. He's played by the actor Thomas Key.
Okay.
The only big movie he's been in was a while ago. However, he had an all-star cast with him in this movie. It was called School Ties. He was in it
Okay.
with Brendan Fraser, Matt Damon, Chris
Wow.
O'Donnell, Ben Affleck before he sucked,
Before he sucked.
Before
and
Batman.
Anthony Rapp before he became extremely gay and was in Rent.
Ah.
And
Okay.
then later on Star Trek Discovery.
It's amazing that he can say Rent, and I know because he's made me watch it.
So, I mean, that's the only real big movie we have him in. I mean, he's been in a lot of movies, but that's the only one that I would.
Hmm.
So, a lot of B movies, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I guess they're gonna show his dad and use that as Cannonball's fear.
Well, I know in the comic, Cannonball's powers first kicked in when there was a cave-in in a coal mine, and he rocketed himself and a bunch of other miners out
Yeah.
of the coal mine.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta be honest though, I'm still wondering, since this movie is kind of based on like bringing out their fears and everything, like is Mirage a mole in this one?
I don't know.
Because they're playing on people's fears, and that's her
That's-
ability. So
And that's his worst fear. Is
maybe that's like the big twist. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just guessing. You know me. I like
Makes
to.
sense.
she's a plant.
I get to think in, and all of a sudden, I get my mutant,
I didn't think about that.
my
till you
mutant
brought it up.
prediction powers just kind of kick in. I'm like, oh, sorry guys, I had a premonition. I had to get it
like,
out.
like I said, he is listed with the main cast. He's not listed as a supporting character. He's listed as the main cast. And I know in the comics, he didn't really have super big roles. He was mentioned here and there.
Right.
Mhm.
Listen, if our listeners, watchers now, if you were listening to us in season 1 and 2, my predictions have always been pretty accurate. So maybe somehow we got a mole in the New Mutants. That's all I'm saying. All right, so we ready for the next character?
Yes.
We're trying to save the best for last here, if you haven't noticed, because there's one that Phoenix really wants to talk about, but we got to save it for last. So the next character is
Is Reverend Craig.
Now, this one is probably going to be the one that I am the most critical of in this movie.
really
Because even though he is not a major X-Men villain, his background is intense. Everybody remembers how like Nightcrawler was persecuted in Germany and chased with pitchforks and fire.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other characters was an orphan under the care of this Reverend Craig.
Mm.
They never depicted it as a physical abuse, but he was very verbally abusive of her and critical and highly Catholic and beats the demon out of her. And
gotta love those highly Catholic ones.
Yes. So Happy Anderson, who is the actor, I hope you do well, and I'm sorry you have to be the one to play this.
I don't
role.
know if he looks sinister because he's a ginger. I'm not sure.
Um,
He looks jolly yet ginger at the same time.
well, the
so it's
character
kind
from
of
the
evil.
comic book, in the few panels you see him in, is standing outside the church, pointing the finger and holding the Bible in condemnation.
Oh yeah, total Bible.
And there are people around him with fiery torches, and you can see the fire in his eyes, and he looks like wrath of God incarnate.
I mean, he's another one who thinks the Bible can change everybody because that's how it works.
And like I say, Happy Anderson's been in a ton of TV shows. We've all seen him and stuff. I didn't even list them off. It's so many. But I mean,
He's been in several projects.
it's beyond several.
I'm saying
So
a slew. How's that? A slew.
happy for you for having a job, Happy.
Boom.
But this is going to be a tough role for you.
It really will. And by the way, guys, I know this story too, but Phoenix is obsessed with New Mutants and X-Force, so I'm letting him take this one. You should have seen the research he did.
Oh yeah,
Peaches and peaches.
Front and back.
yes. And before we get to the final one, my favorite X-Force character has made it on screen in Deadpool 2, but they literally butchered it in every way possible. Shatterstar.
Oh, just because he went into a helicopter prop doesn't mean.
First of all, they got him completely wrong. Only thing they got
I liked him.
Only thing they got right was the ponytail.
I liked him.
But then they just
He was a dick. I liked him.
turned him into hamburger.
I was hoping he stuck around, to be honest.
Oh, it's just
Poor Shatterstar.
yeah, poor Shatterstar.
We still mourn for you. We still do.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh, you're doing something naughty. I
No, me
know.
never.
All right. So
All right.
now we can go on to the
Yes.
Yes,
So-
we saved the best for last, according to Phoenix, because the last character is.
Wolfsbane.
the werewolf. Even though she's not necessarily a werewolf, she's a mutant, but
And guess who she's being played by?
Massey Williams.
Maisie.
Maisie.
Maisie, whatever, man.
Get it right. You're so excited. You're like, I'll talk about her last. Can't get the name right.
Well, to be honest, her real name is Margaret Constance Williams.
All right, well, don't call her by her government. She's trying to keep it on the low.
She was, Massey.
Right. Maisie.
Maisie. Her parents named her for a comic strip character.
Ironic.
In Bristol, UK, there was a comic strip in the newspaper called The Perishers, and apparently that was one of the characters.
Oh,
So she's
okay.
very familiar with
I'm not up
comics.
on my British papers, so wow.
Another fun fact.
That's cool.
She was born April 15th, 1997, which is exactly 2 months and 1 day before I graduated high school.
I was 10.
Oh,
However, she is still really young.
Mm-hmm.
To her credit, she has an Uwe Award. I don't know what an Uwe Award is. It doesn't sound very appealing, but it's Best Supporting Actress for her.
everybody wants an ooey.
Um,
I'd love one, but that's just.
But these are just the things
You
she
do 'em
has
for
under
shows
her
and
belt. An Uwe Award for Best Supporting Actress, a Portal Award for Best Supporting Actress, a Saturn Award for Best Performance by a Young Actor. That's a pretty big deal.
Yes.
She's also won London's Circle Award for Performance of the Year, like Young Performer of the Year.
All right, there we go. Sorry. Again, we had that talk with D. James Jones, and apparently I absorbed his power because now I can turn invisible. Who knew? Thank you, Trader.
She has a reoccurring role in the Doctor Who franchise.
Mm.
You know, that's pretty good for somebody her age. She was even nominated for she wasn't nominated for the Emmy. They put her name in the back hat for Game of Thrones.
But she didn't make the final cut.
She did not make the cut.
Yeah, and of
Gotcha.
course, Maisie is predominantly known for being Arya Stark in Game of Thrones from practically the beginning all the way through.
Yeah. And we've seen some great range from this actress.
We really have.
Yeah.
Like in, later during Game of Thrones, she was held captive, and like her captor wanted to sell her off for money, and he gets to where he's going with her, only to find out that the person that would have paid him died like the day before. And then she has this childhood. She's had this tragic story all the way up to like the season 2, at which point she just burst out in this childish laugh real quick. It's really funny.
Yeah, I mean,
And then-
she's done everything. She had to play a boy. You know, she had to become an assassin. She had to,
Yeah. And everybody's like, oh, Daenerys Targaryen's going to defeat the Night King, and Jon Snow's going to defeat the Night King.
Nope. Arya.
She just jumps out from behind him and like, what do we say to the God of Death? Not today.
Wow.
And just dead. And the irony is not lost that Arya Stark, whose house sigil is a wolf, is now
playing Wolfsbane.
a Wolfsbane. But she is.
Symmetry.
I love her. She's been in a few other movies here and there, but she will always be Arya Stark, the total badass of the Game of Thrones universe.
Yes.
Everybody else has their cool
And
powers.
I kind of think this role is perfect for her. It's accurate.
From what they showed in the trailer, she has the meekness of.
Yes.
Oh, and I guess I should. Wolfsbane's name is Rain Sinclair. It's not necessarily spelled Rain, but it's pronounced
Rain.
And
Well,
well, I can't spell anyway.
I know.
But good luck, Ms. Williams.
I think she's
a great
honestly,
role.
it's a great role, but she's perfect for it because she's already had to play this like meek, young thing that turned into something badass. So
And she's kind of used to having a boy haircut, which Rain has
again,
always had very short hair because
she had to play a boy. She had to keep her hair short. Now Rain is the same type of short hair.
orphanage,
Kind of orphan, which she ended up
oppression.
becoming. So she's kind of been there, done that with this role. So I really think, honestly, she's going to kill it.
Yeah, and you do kind of see in the trailer a little morph scene with it. They don't do the full morph,
No,
but it looks awesome.
it does. If you saw it at the beginning, it really does. And if you had to go back find it, it's easy to find the trailer. It's great. It looks like a cool movie. I don't want to get my hopes up too high because this is basically like, let's be honest, it's like Fox's swan song before they dipped and sold their mutant rights. So
Yeah.
and I know Disney's been working on it for a while, which is why I got pushed back a little bit, but I'm still excited to see it. I'm kind of cautiously excited to see it. Like, I don't want to jump out of my chair when it finally is released, but I will definitely go watch it.
Speaking of release,
And as of right now, because we know anything could change with the way things are these days, but as of right now,
particularly with this movie,
the release date, which was April 3rd, if you saw at the end there, is now August 28th.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about everywhere, but like we live in the state of Virginia, and according to Regal, the theaters should be reopened by July 1st. So if that happens, they should keep on schedule to release this movie. If it doesn't, and if other places don't open up, then maybe they might push it again. I'm hoping not, because it's been pushed for like at least 2 years, going on 3.
and it's actually really starting to look good.
It's
Yeah.
really, it really, it's looked good from the beginning. Like when they said mutant horror movie, I was like, oh, like this is different.
Although, one note to Hollywood, can you please stop using that song and everything?
I kind of like the way they did it though. They had like a nice
Yeah.
little remix
But
cover.
they like slowed it down.
and for
a little.
this, it was good. I liked it. So I'm definitely excited. I hope it does come out in August. I'm tired of waiting for it to come out. we've reported to you, if you followed us from, the beginning when we were just doing podcasts, we've reported that it's going to be out here and there, and maybe they're going to put it out on Hulu, and now they've given it another theatrical release. It's just been an odyssey to get the movie out and viewable somewhere.
Yeah.
I was almost hoping they'd do a digital copy when all the COVID stuff started, because it's been that long, and it's, oh, come on already.
Yeah.
And now I'll shut up.
Well, you can't shut up completely, because we actually have more mutant news.
Woohoo.
And this is mutant news on somebody that we had to allude to in our former show and not really say the person's name, because they didn't really say the person's name. So again, I'm going to say this loud and mutant and proud. We have news on Magneto. Yes, Magneto.
Not Polaris' father.
Polaris' father. Shut your mouth. You saw The Gifted. Polaris' father. Anyway, Polaris, Wanda, Quicksilver, and oh yeah, the kid in Apocalypse. But too soon.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I just remembered.
That's for saying what you said about my Green Queen.
Oops.
And her headpiece.
This dude just needs to stop having kids all over the place.
He really does.
Or has something to do with them.
No, the saddest part was, like, he stuck around for that kid and she died.
Yeah.
The rest of them lived. He stuck around for this one and she died. So maybe Magneto was right.
I've always thought Magneto.
Maybe you should have just had the kid and dipped, because it seemed to work out better than sticking around. But anyway, we're getting off topic. I'm going to try to keep us from derailing. There is actually news of how they could possibly introduce Magneto into the MCU. And again, she's barely gotten to talk, and I know she loves Magneto. So we're gonna let Kathy give us how they're planning on introducing Magneto into the MCU, because I think it's pretty cool.
All right. So the next movie is Secret Wars, and it's going to be against Doctor Doom. But what they're doing with Magneto is they're going to introduce him as a villain.
Shocking, right?
Yeah, with
But wait.
the Avengers and the X-Men, but he turns into
He basically, okay.
he turns good.
This is what happens when you let her do stuff. All right, sorry. So basically what it is Magneto is going to be introduced as an ally of Doctor Doom. And they're going to come to Earth and invade. And the Avengers are going to try to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst, Magneto is going to realize that there are, like, gifted humans willing to fight. And he is going to join them to try to save humanity from Doctor Doom.
Mm.
So they're going to bring him in as a villain, but then in a twist, he's going to turn around and help the Avengers get rid of Doctor Doom, which I think is, like, actually pretty good. And what she was saying was this should happen when Avengers Secret Wars comes out, which I don't know. I think it's part of Phase 4, but you haven't really heard a lot about it. And damn it, those trader powers keep clicking off. I'm getting used to them, folks. Sorry about that. But now that we have this information and we know that this is a possibility of getting a guy like Magneto into the MCU, what do you think about the way they're trying to introduce him in these movies, in this universe?
For me, it sounds like a good idea. I mean, during the 80s, he even led the X-Men for a while. So he's never ever been a villain,
right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think they could actually, the biggest thing that I have, do you think they could actually forego Professor X altogether? Because, like you brought up, when he wasn't around, Magneto kind of led the Xavier School and the X-Men. Do you think they might forgo all of Professor X and just have Magneto leading the X-Men as they're brought in with the MCU, working with the Avengers?
That would be, in my opinion, I mean, they could do it, but then wouldn't they be the M-Men at that point?
The M-Men.
Because the whole reason they're the X-Men is Xavier had the pun.
The children of M.
Xavier. Well, we already have too many of those. We've already established.
Yes, we just did.
No, we have two versions of one of them.
We just established it. And only one of them was good. And it was the Fox one. Go figure.
Well, the other one just like I'm on screen and I'm dead.
Right.
Yep.
Guess you didn't see that one coming.
Boom.
Oh.
Too soon? Meh. No.
Never.
Yeah, I do
Love
like
you, Aaron Johnson, but
I do like the way they're trying to bring Magneto in. But I will say, if they did get rid of Professor X, I might be a little sad. I really might. Like, they're the X-Men. You can't just get rid of it. Like, if he's working, if he and Professor X end up working together, like First Class, but in the MCU and with the Avengers, that would be kind of cool. I don't know who they'd be fighting against, unless you're bringing Galactus in, and then you get the Fantastic Four and all that good shit.
Yep.
Another Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna do it. Disney
need a
bought the damn
redo.
rights, so they're gonna do it.
They need a
Right.
redo.
Well,
They do.
There's still the back door of Beast was an Avenger.
True.
Mm.
Very true. And obviously, he's been in the Fox movies, and they have those rights now. So, and if we get Beast, maybe we get some other people. Maybe eventually we get Deadpool. Oh, I'm hoping. I'm praying. But all right. So my lovely wife, what do you think of the way they're planning on introducing Magneto
I definitely.
and Doctor Doom? See, if we're getting Doctor Doom, we'll probably get Galactus. Anyway, back to Kathy.
And then we get the Silver Surfer, and then we get Udu.
Back to Kathy.
So I agree with Phoenix. I definitely like it. I think it's a good idea to kind of show like a revolution of him or change or transformation. I'm sorry, transformation of him from villain to helping.
I
being an
definitely think it's
ally.
a good way to show both sides of the
Yeah.
character, because it wasn't like Magneto was an X-Men. If you saw First Class, he was an X-Men. He was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then things changed, and he ended up having the falling out with Xavier and
Mhm.
possibly putting him in a wheelchair. Well, not possibly. He pretty much did. And he went off and created his own faction, and the X-Men went on, and then eventually they got back together, but took a while.
Yeah.
So it's definitely nice the way they're introducing like both sides of this Magneto character. Would you be okay with them completely cutting Professor X out of the story though?
Mm.
Because I'm not. I'm sitting here behind an Xavier School logo.
Yeah.
I can't
Um,
see.
Yeah, I think I would want him in it.
He would have to.
It would just be fitting. So
It'll still be funny to see Magneto introduced into the MCU before Professor X.
Now, if you don't mind me bringing it up, because I know we didn't have it on here, but if you don't mind me bringing it up, we've also gotten reports that are from the same sources that told us beforehand that like Thor was going to be fat and Bucky was going to come be the Winter Soldier and that sort of thing. So like very accurate when it comes to the source. We've gotten reports saying that the casting of the lead roles for the X-Men and for the Fantastic Four, which is obviously Professor X and Reed Richards, would be for Reed. We had what was his name? The guy from the office, John Krasinski.
Oh, John Krasinski.
Krasinski.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then for the casting for Professor X was supposedly, according to this report, which the source has been accurate many other times, Giancarlo Esposito of Breaking Bad, The Mandalorian, Revolution. He was the Moff in The Mandalorian more recently.
But yeah, we discussed this about.
We haven't discussed this on here.
Oh, no, not on here. We discussed this via teleconference.
I just thought since we were talking about Professor X.
Yeah.
I like the actor.
I love the actor.
I think in Breaking Bad, he had the best death scene of any actor I've ever seen.
Maybe.
Like,
no lie, maybe.
He literally gets blown up in a room. He walks out, like half of his body missing. He walks out, he straightens up his tie, and then falls over dead.
It's like, so you made it. Oh, almost.
It's like total. It was a total.
It really is that kind of thing. Like, oh, you made it. Oh, you almost made it.
It was a total Mortal Kombat death. And Revolution, he played like kind of not a total bad guy, but
I want to say
bad guy.
Two-Faced Dick.
Yeah,
Because I don't know a lot of people outside of like you and I that really know that show to begin with, even though it was good. Like when I bring it up to other people, they're like, "What? What was that?"
Yeah, I never heard of it.
It's the post-apocalyptic drama that has like the computer power button as its logo.
Yeah,
Ah,
we watched it together.
And then in the season finale of The Mandalorian, he's the one that pops up as a moth.
It was the colony in Philadelphia was run by that blonde-haired Australian dude from ER.
oh yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that? Yeah, that's Revolution. Okay, she
Okay.
remembers now. But yeah, Giancarlo Esposito was basically a two-faced dick. Like whichever side was winning, that's where
Yeah,
he
that's
was.
where he won it.
Wherever he could keep his family line, that's where he was. He's a very talented actor, and honestly, I know if people hear this, they might have a problem with it. I really don't. I think he'd make a damn good Professor X. I know he's normally better as kind of a villain, but I think he could do a damn good job as Professor X.
Yeah.
And I definitely like John Krasinski as Reed Richards, because if you watch The Office or if you know of him and you've seen him, he definitely fits the role. Like as far as looks, even the voice a little bit, the personality from what you've seen him do. I think he'd do. I think he'd be good leading the X-Men. I don't know who they get with it. Or, I mean, the Fantastic Four. I don't know who they get to fill out the rest, because that isn't out there. But if it is, we'll come back and we'll report it.
Yeah.
'Cause we're all about mutant news.
Well, I mean, if you have to throw in the mutants, don't forget, Reed Richards' son is the most powerful mutant ever.
Right? Oh, damn those traitor powers. They just keep popping off. I have to figure out.
When the Fantastic Four disappeared, there were other people who took over. Wolverine was a member of the new Fantastic Four, along with Ghost Rider.
Yes.
And some other people.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do vaguely remember that. But I think it's going to be interesting to see if that's actually true and how it goes. But that kind of gets me. So like all this stuff, all this like New Mutants, Magneto talk, Professor X, Reed Richards. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to happen. Just wait, it's coming. Yes. I need a minute. Yeah. Do you have anything to add about those?
No,
Castings
I'm
or
totally okay with it. Like,
yeah,
I'm ready for something a little different, so why not?
Yeah, I'm just ready for something X-Men because it's all gone now. And it's like, come on,
We need X-Men.
Give us New Mutants, give us X-Men the animated series on Disney Plus, like the new one, the reboot. Give us something,
And don't screw it up.
Yes, most important.
And on top of all that, any X-Men movie is going to be better than the 6 they've made so far. 8 if you 9 if you count the Wolverine.
You like Dark Phoenix?
I like Dark Phoenix, but it's not.
And you love Logan.
Only because it made me cry.
Me too.
It made me cry.
It made everybody cry. I'm crying now. God damn it!
Kind of
I'm so glad I got invisible there for a bit.
I know y'all hate it. That I hate X-23 as a character. I hate the way she's introduced. I don't like her at all. And I made me feel sorry for the little girl.
Oh, me too. Oh God, yes.
But it's like I hate that character.
Especially when she's giving them the eulogy from the movie, and you're like, oh, there are no more guns in the valley. Jesus. See.
Yeah.
Even she's like, oh God.
Wolverine's my favorite X-Men character.
I
know. I had to hug her in tears. I was like, it's gonna be okay.
Okay. But actually, I'm being instructed by my bosses over here in London that we need to stop talking about that movie.
Well, I don't give a fuck because I don't work for them. When they want to cut a check, I'll talk about whatever the fuck they want until that day.
It involves one of our facilities.
They can try. It ain't happening. I got perimeter defenses on top of perimeter defenses. You don't want to do that.
Look, you've been in hiding for like a year and a half.
And has anybody found me yet?
No.
Exactly. So on that note, I think we're going to say goodnight, folks. And we want to thank you for listening to this. We want to thank everybody again that came on, whether it was D. James Jones or Anissa Matlock. We loved you guys. It was amazing. We will have you back. We're working on some other cast interviews, some other cool stuff. We may not be back next week because we've got some other prior engagements, and Phoenix might be working overtime scrubbing toilets. I don't know, but
interior design, not janitorial servicing.
Right.
That's what he says.
Toilets. Anyway. We probably won't be back to you next week, but the following week we're going to do what we can to come up with something, mutant related and do some things. We have some personal shit to work out, take care of. That's all. It's nothing big. It's not like anybody's dying, because in this day and age they might be. So don't be like, it's not that bad. Just some stuff we got to work out, and we will be back probably like second week of June, like 2 weeks from now.
And since we're in the final 2-month countdown for the New Mutants, we may get another trailer.
We will bring that to you if we can. We're gonna see how it works once this goes on YouTube, because honestly, I'm new to it. I don't know. Maybe they'll let it. Maybe they won't. I don't know. We're gonna find out together. So we want to thank you again, and we want to invite you to follow us on social media if you haven't already. We are on Twitter at Mutant Rejects. You can look us up on Facebook, Mutant Rejects, the Gifted Podcast, because they won't let us change it. We don't want to. You can still find podcasts for those of you who have been listening since day one. Just go to anchor.fm/Foxden. And all the episodes we've done, and a few from season 2 are up there right now. When I get a chance, I'm gonna put some more of our previous content up there. So if you guys want to go back and, like, if you're watching The Gifted and you get through an episode and you're like, wait, what did they say about it? You can do that. You can just flip back and forth. It's fun. We've tried it. It's fun. Like, oh God, we got that right. Oh damn, Kathy, you look stupid on that one. It's a fun thing to do. If you don't have anything to do, give it a shot. I approve it. And obviously, to people who are, still listening to our podcast and don't know, we are now on YouTube, and at least 2 of us at a time, because we haven't gotten all 3 yet, are on camera, and you can see our lovely faces. Look at us. Aren't we cute? Hi, first couple. And you can find us by just looking for Foxden Productions on YouTube. You'll see this show. You will also see Drunk Upon a Time, which some of you deep Rejects fans that have been with us may remember from before. You will also see Top Rope Wrestling Talk. You'll get all the episodes, including the interviews from D. James Jones and Lisa Matlock. At Top Rope, we just interviewed an MC who uses wrestling and mutants in his rhymes. So you might want to check that out too. And it's just, again, wherever you go, a lot of content in one place. You're going to love it. You're going to have plenty of stuff to do, plenty of stuff to kill time if you need to in these, sort of quarantine times, like semi, because like they say things are open, but they're not really, but they are, but they're not. In these weird times, let's put it that way.
Hey guys, quarantine means stay home, stay safe.
Oh, we're not going to go into that. We're way too beyond that point, to start now, because I'm signing off. So we want to just say, in these weird times, if you need entertainment as I phase in and out, I'll get this invisibility trait down. I really will. It's been like a week, guys. First 2 days, you didn't see me at all.
I know this doctor who could help you.
No. Hell no. So in the meantime, just stay safe wherever you are. Try to not really love one another, but at least try to get along with one another. I mean, I think that's what the whole X-Men franchise and yes. Stan was.
Can't we just all get along?
Well, that's kind of like what the basis of Stan's vision was for making the X-Men series, to show you how people were looked at if they were different, but those people were still people, and you shouldn't really judge them any differently. But you do, and you never know, because that person could end up being a hero. That person could end up just saying "fuck you" and try to take out the whole human race. You don't know. It just depends on who you treat and how you treat them when you do.
Yeah.
So now that I'm done with that, because again, we're not going to go into that either. Thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. We will be back to you soon, and we're just going to let Stan take us out.
But until next time, true believers, Excelsior!